Welcome to episode 874 of Apartment Hacker. This is Mike Burton at Apartment Hacker. It's my mission to tease out human potential in the multifamily space. Today I wanted to talk about the player's scoreboard versus the coach's scoreboard. And this is a story dating back to my high school years, which was like a couple days ago. The coach I played for, high school basketball, had this philosophy that players needed to pay attention to the game. In other words, when we stepped out on the court, the only thing that we needed to focus on was doing our job on the court. Whether you were a post or a forward or a guard, you played your position, you played it well, and you focused on that and your opponent. You did not focus on the scoreboard. The coach's job was to actually focus on the scoreboard, and as such, he paid attention to strategy, real time, right? We had a strategy and a game plan before the game started, but his job was to pay attention to the score, pay attention to the energy level in the game, the momentum, etc., and his job was to adjust accordingly, right? So if we were way out in front of the competition, then the strategy might shift such that players who don't get to play that often actually got in the game and played, versus if it was a tight game, energy levels were low, he would substitute in and out players who could give rest to those who were kind of leading the charge, so to speak. In the multifamily space, it is no different. Those of you who play the role of regional manager, play the role of vice president of operations or senior vice president of operations, etc., your job is to pay attention to the landscape, pay attention to morale, pay attention to those things that drive the business. You cannot be successful SVP, VP, RM if you are working in the business constantly. You need to be working on the business as opposed to in the business. You need to be paying attention to 3, 6, 9, 12 months down the road versus every single day you're in the business doing something task-oriented. No original work should come from your desk, from your computer, from your Excel spreadsheets, from your Word documents, etc. It can't. Your job is to pay attention to the forward look, and the job of the players on the field, on the front lines, is to pay attention to that stuff, to take care of those things that really make the business happen on a day-to-day basis. SVP, VP, RM, you're part of the strategy team. You're not part of the execution team. The execution team is the on-site team. So just like our coach in high school, his job was to pay attention to the scoreboard. His job was to pay attention to the landscape. His job was to pay attention to the forward look. So is yours. So my encouragement to you today is make sure you have a scoreboard of leading indicators, that is RMs, VPs, SVPs, versus a player's scoreboard, which would be at the site level and would be all about execution metrics. So it's my encouragement for you today. Understand the difference. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.